Activision devs do not play their own game. It's not your dad doesn't support you.
You should know, you worked at a coffee shop, you stupid bitch.
My name is Casey, and absolutely not fucking Tanner, because my parents don't hate me that much.
Hey, did they have just 8 patches lined up, but they just didn't release them because they were on break? No, you moron kids.
Then we'll, of course, get into it. Change your fucking name and get scammed. He's feeling under the weather.
I probably won't say another word until Stay Humble, so have a good pod, Raz. I'll be here listening.
Got it. We are live. Welcome, boys and girls, to the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, episode number 242. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. I am joined, as always, by, wearing the one hat he owns as usual, of course, by my good friend Tanner. Tanner, how you doing, buddy?
Great.
What are you applying to your lips there?
This is a Manscaped lip balm.
Interesting.
Just go dropshotmanscaped.com.
20% off and free worldwide shipping.
Free worldwide shipping, yeah. Great, just lathering up those lips before this app.
Lather those suckers up.
Oh man, I'm out of Tic Tac. I'm going to throw a Tic Tac in my mouth too. Oh well, that sucks.
Throw a cyanide capsule in your mouth. Welcome to the show. Today, we are talking about, as discussed, Fortune's Keep. The Great Fortune's Keep, which is a new map in Warzone. And before we do that, a couple announcements. We have none, I don't think. All of our Patreon episodes for the last month, the month of June, are live. We've been getting some positive feedback on those, so if you are a patron, be sure to listen. And if you're not, patreon.com/thedropshot. It's the best way to support the show. 7 bonus episodes a month, monthly hangouts, and more. Once again, patreon.com/thedropshot. We could use it. And actually, the bonus episodes have been quite fire lately, and I think will continue to be as we inch ever closer the tides of time marching on toward the launch of MW 2 and Warzone 2.
Yeah.
Tanner,
yep.
Did you post the TikTok I made?
No.
Why?
I haven't even looked at it yet. Because there's one.
Yeah, and you're going to forget. So post it.
No, I'm not.
And there are 2, by the way. There's still one in the folder you didn't post.
No, I just didn't delete it.
Okay.
That's the last one I posted. I didn't delete it.
Okay. Well, post the goddamn TikTok. Or it's still a
draft. Let me check. Let me see if it posted.
This son of a bitch. I spend all this time making content, and then Tanner just doesn't post it.
Got it.
I mean, how hard is it, you know? I don't know. Anyway, we do have a TikTok account.
No, it's posted. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
You might not know that, because Tanner doesn't post on it, but... Anyways, yeah, we've been light on TikTok, so I don't think we have a dumbest TikTok comment of the day yet. However, this segment is not going away. And as we continue to do more episodes, we will continue to be doing that segment
fun and exciting segment.
As we can. It's a very fun and exciting segment, yeah. Another thing that happened, by the way, we did our Wednesday episode, in which we talked about how the UGM needs a nerf and the NZ needs a nerf, and then it was nerfed by the time the episode went live. That's always fun and exciting. We should have just done the episode on Thursday. That's what we've learned. But that's why we moved the episodes to Thursdays in general. So, Tanner, do we have any announcements before we get into this broadcast?
Patrons, sorry, we won't have there won't be an episode out until like probably next Friday, the 8th, just letting you know. Because the month's just started. We haven't recorded any. Right? I'll be gone until Wednesday, and so then we'll probably start recording Friday. So you probably won't have your first episode till the 8th or 9th, but it's fine. So we got 31 days in the month. You'll get them all. Don't fucking worry about it. You will indeed get them all, and don't fucking worry about it. Yeah. So, all right. A lot planned, a lot coming up this month, but for now, let's get into the program. Listen for the jingle. Here it is. I was right about the Chinese thing, by the way, and you weren't, you stupid fuck.
What are you talking about?
That they teach all the kids that in school now.
Did you look it up?
Yes, of course I did. It
You're
says
so petty.
There are four.
Bitch.
Well, because you always think you're right, and you're just not.
I'm editing this out, so it doesn't matter. And I don't believe you. I don't know what fucking forum post you.
It said there are an estimated 400 million Chinese people in China learning English.
That's a lot, actually.
Yes.
If there are 400 million learning English, I'll give it to you, because that's
and I was also right because it said
population.
It said something about like since like the late 70s they've come a really long way because they didn't used to learn it. But I'm smarter than you. It's really that simple. I'm smarter than you. Better at Tarkov. Better at Warzone. Better looking.
Or
have more bitches.
Warzone. You do have more bitches.
Have more hats.
You might own more hats. You don't wear more hats than I do, though. I wear more hats because you wear exactly one hat. Yeah. Welcome to the show. Today we are not talking about the Chinese language learning practices. We are talking about Fortune's Keep. So we did an episode a while back, not too long ago, obviously, of our first impressions of Fortune's Keep. And we played for a while before we did that first impressions episode. But what I did not really think about, and I guess Tanner didn't really think about it either, is that we didn't really explore much of the actual map. No. We were in fact landing at the same spot every time. And it was just not something I thought very much about, to be honest, because like when we play on Rebirth Island, we kind of play the same way we played Fortune's Keep the first time ever, which is like you find a spot you like and then you go there always because the map is small enough to where you can like do that. So we just kept landing at Winery. We did that for 4 hours and then we did an episode. And then we had a lot of thoughts. And then Tanner played a little more Fortune's Keep the day after that first impressions episode. And then was telling me and told you guys as well on the next episode we had recorded that there's more to Fortune's Keep than Winery. There's like the west side of the map. And that if you go there, it's a different experience. So today we are going to relay what that different experience is. We played more Fortune's Keep, obviously, since that first impressions ep. And we made a point. We've made a point to explore the entire map. We've gone to all the POIs except one, which we'll get into. And we have a lot more to say now on these second impressions. So, as always, let us know what you think at the end of this. How much do you agree or disagree with anything we're going to say here? I will also add, this is one such case where we're going to do a second impressions episode, where my opinion on everything I said when we last talked about Fortune's Keep really hasn't changed much. I just have more things to add, I guess. But I haven't really changed my mind much about anything regarding when we last talked about Fortune's Keep.
Yeah. That was a Fortune's Keep first impression, but really it was a Winery first impression.
Correct,
that's the only place we landed. I hadn't even seen town. I hadn't landed there. I had gone Keep once and immediately left as quickly as possible and went to Winery, of course. But yeah, we're winos. It's really that simple. We still are winos, by the way. We are winos. We're Winery mains. It's the best POI.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Winery is still probably my favorite POI.
Yeah.
But we'll get into it. So let me actually pull up a map here. I want to have a map handy.
Don't we have one on this? Yeah, there's a map right there, buddy.
Yeah, we do, but I don't want to have to scroll up a bunch. I'm not a fucking cunt like you. Okay. There we go. Oh, yeah, that sucker's nice and big. All right, so let's get into it. And these are in no particular order. We're not going to break this up into good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, or whatever, as we sometimes do, because a lot of these points have a lot of all of that kind of mixed in. And a lot of it's good, too, honestly. So yeah, as Tanner just said, in our first impressions, we really only played Winery and Camp. We played a lot of Winery and east of Winery before our first impressions episode. That part of the map we were very well acquainted with. We've since played in more areas. So again, as I said, Tanner played more Fortune's Keep the day after our first impressions episode and was telling me in Discord, he's like, dude, town fucking sucks. The whole west side of the map sucks. Everywhere but Winery sucks. It's a dog shit map unless you're at Winery.
I didn't say all of that. I didn't say that much.
No,
I did say the west side
town.
Of the map was dog shit, though.
Yeah.
I did say that.
He was like really making it sound terrible. So I was like, oh boy. So then we played and we landed like town first. I was like, let's get this shit out of the way. And it honestly was not that bad to me. And this is the thing about town. Like, if you look at it on the map and you see all those buildings, you might be like, holy shit, this place is going to be super fucking ratty and dog shit to fight in, and people can be in a million spots. But what you have to remember is that you can't go in any of the buildings at town. You can't enter any of them. All the doors are sealed or whatever. So it's like, there's a lot of buildings, but those might as well be big rocks because they're basically just cover. They're not like actually buildings in the way that they would be buildings on Rebirth that you can actually get inside of. So for that reason, town is not as ratty as it like appears from the map, and it really doesn't play that ratty or campy or dog shit. And another thing that's good about that is that because there are no buildings you can be inside of at town, it means you can see everyone at town.
You can definitely see people if you're inside of the glitch buildings there. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So if no one's glitching, you can see everyone. And that's a problem you have at Winery, is that there are buildings you can enter in Winery and then people disappear. But if you're at town, you can't get inside a building unless you're glitching it. And therefore everyone's very easy to see, which is another nice part of that POI. Now, is it a great POI? No, it's not great, but it's not terrible. It's fine. It's a very uninteresting POI to me. That's what I would say. And every time we landed there or found ourselves there, what I found myself doing was going to the very west side and then running along like the pathway, like outside the buildings.
Southwest, that's where we were landing, right? That southwest corner.
Yeah, yes, yeah. And then kind of going like up alongside the buildings and like getting elevation and running like eastward from there, because that will take you to higher altitude and then you'll have like longer sight lines because you're getting out of town, basically. That's the reason. But yeah, I would say town was not as bad as Tanner made it sound. Maybe he just had a couple shit lobbies there. I don't know. Or maybe he died to a bunch of people glitching and didn't watch kill cams. That's possible too. I don't know. But it wasn't that bad to me. It just wasn't good either. It was like it's a really uninteresting POI to me. That's what I would say about it. It's not awful, but it's not good either. It's just boring. It's a kind of dog shit because it's like, just completely middling to me. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I find it interesting you say that because it's like the first POI it's like a brand new type of POI, how it's like those narrow alleys and stuff. I definitely wouldn't say it's uninteresting. It's cool looking. It's one of those things again, but let me just start reading what I wrote here. It does seem hit or miss because when we were playing it, when I played with you next after I bitched about it, was not the same experience I had originally at all. I think it's hit or miss. It's one of those POIs that's depends literally on the lobby you get. It's that simple. It can be great or not great depending on how good the people are there. Because the demons can really, really take advantage of you at town with with how it's laid out, little narrow alleyways, the staircases. The staircases don't just go straight down. They'll go down 5 steps and it'll make a left and go down another 8 steps and make another right and go down another 4 steps. And then in between that, there will be like a ladder on the left side. There will be one random window you can get into the side of a building. So there's a lot of outplay potential if you have good movement. And so I think that's what was happening my first playthrough, is that it was a demonic lobby and I could not find anyone in town. I was always getting chased down and I was always just dying as I was trying to run away from these people and like plate up or something.
So if you get a worse lobby where you can kind of outplay those people, it makes it very, very fun because you're doing to them what was happening to me prior, and I was hating it, but when I can do it, then it's more fun, obviously.
Yeah, that makes some sense, yeah.
So it is really fun going in and out of the buildings, getting on top of them. I think all that's interesting. There's most of the buildings you can get in are dead in the center. There's like one road that's on like the west side. It goes north to south. Like all of those front facing buildings you can get in pretty much. But then like once you get behind that row, then there's like nothing else you can get in there at all. It's just all boarded off buildings. Kind of weird.
Yeah. You know what else is making me think it's uninteresting is that it was never hot when I was there.
Really?
I went to town a number of times and it was never hot. There would be like one other team at most, actually. I think that's part of the reason I find it uninteresting too, is because nothing's ever happened to me there.
Oh, yeah.
Just no one there. It's probably one of those things where like when you were landing there, the map was still so new that people were going everywhere and like checking it out. And then by the time I played with you, people had gone to town, seen that there's nothing there, and then just stopped going there ever again. And then we were the ones going there with no one else. I think that's.
I thought we saw a lot of people, but it was like a lot of people as in like 2 full teams. So there'd be 8 gamers there, but you were fighting the same 2 teams the entire time. And since there's all like little alleyways and everything, and you can get away fairly easily, then like the last guy alive would just keep running, and then all of his teammates would come back, and then they'd land at town again, and then we'd fight them again. Because I always thought it was hot, but it wasn't like
that's weird.
It was just 1 or 2 teams there the entire time. It seemed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Another thing about town is the audio in that area, because all the staircases and like the buildings you can get into, they'll be like 2 or 3 levels high. Don't ever know where someone's at, ever. I just hear really loud footsteps and I think they're in front of me, and turns out they're below me or above me. I don't know. And that also makes it not a fun POI to fight in. Same thing goes for Keep, which we'll get into. And then last thing on town for me is the buy station locations are all in the open and like directly below where all of the roofs are that people camp. They are horrible buy stations. Probably the 2 worst buy stations on the map are the 2 at town.
Yep.
They are dog shit. Mm-hmm. I killed people buying back because you would hear someone buy back. I'm like, cool. All I have to do is run past this one little house right here, and I shoot the guy as he's laying prone trying to buy his teammates back. It's so simple. That happened to me too. So they get camped pretty hard there too, because you can get on those rooftops and just, you have a nasty head glitch. They see your forehead and nothing else, and you can just shoot them on the buy easily.
Right.
Really dog shit buy station locations there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's also true for sure. Yeah. What is this next point?
Yeah. So we had talked about how you can't get in any of the buildings, and how whose clip was that? I think it was Pie Man's clip, and he couldn't he kept trying to open up doors, which obviously didn't open, and then he got mad and he left the game or something. So I did start to notice all the buildings you can't get into more and more when I think I should be able to, and then I can't. Not that I would run up and try it, but I started to notice that more. It's like, yeah, why are none of these open? It still hasn't gotten me killed. But I just think I'm going to be able to run around a corner and then hopefully jump through some window that's there as some guy's chasing me, but I just can't because they're always boarded. So I have to just keep running and running and running. And so a lot of people bitch about this.
Running.
But honestly, if all of these were open, town would be without a doubt the worst POI in Warzone history. If you could get, so it's like Pie Man bitches about that, but it's like, yeah, but if all of those were open, then you're gonna have so many corner campers in all of those buildings that you guys also complain about.
I totally
agree. The
Rebirth
with sweats, the resurgent sweats love to complain about corner campers. So don't bitch about the buildings not being enterable, because they honestly probably thought about that when they designed the map. Because there's no other reason you can't get in any of them.
That's a good point.
That's not a thing in Warzone where you can't get in any of the buildings.
Yeah.
That's probably why, because there's way too many small buildings that you could just camp in and have no clue where people are. I mean, you could have a circle ending at town if that was the case, with 30 people in the final circle, still everyone in a different little house, you know? Mm-hmm. That would just be dog shit. So it's good that they're boarded off, I think.
That's a good point. That's
people just don't really seem to think about that aspect of it. It's like you're just used to being able to go in all the buildings, but
That's not necessarily a bad thing on this map. I think it's a good thing you can't enter these.
That's a really, really, really good point. Yeah, people are like annoyed you can't get in all the buildings, which I get, because yeah, it is kind of weird to put in a building you can't get into. Like, I understand that that's strange, but they basically wanted it to look like a town without being the worst POI they've ever made. Because you're right, if you could get in every single building in town, holy fuck, it would be a nightmare fighting there. So many rat spots, random kids in random shit corners. And yeah, like you said, imagine final circles being there. Everyone's in a different building. Like, there's so many. It would be so fucking dog shit. So it is good that they're boarded up. It's just weird. Yeah, but
you get used to it pretty quickly.
And again, like we said the first time, I stand by this. It is immediately obvious to me what buildings you can't get into. Like, I don't even try. I
didn't try to jump through any windows or doors. Yeah, ever.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, but yeah, for sure. So next point here. I still really, really like Grotto. I still think that's a really well-designed POI. It's hard to make an area on a map like this that is so much lower elevation than everywhere else, but is also not dog shit. And they couldn't do it on Rebirth Island. Every depressed area of Rebirth Island sucks. Security area fucking sucks. The boats are okay, actually. Or the boat, rather.
Yeah, even then, it's hard to rotate up.
It's
How many
dangerous,
times have we been camped from the boat on the west side of the map from people control that jump off the roof when they see us by and then just hold that angle because you can't get up?
Yeah, that is yeah. That's true. If you're trying to leave that area, it's really dog shit. Yeah. And then the same can be said for the east side of Rebirth. All of it. Everything on the east side of the map. Dog shit, not worth being there. None of it's good. It's all really bad. But Grotto is like worth going to, and you're not like really in danger if you're down there in the Grotto looting up and shit. You have so much cover. And if people wanted to come shoot you, that's another thing too, is that the areas around you, surrounding you, that have higher elevation than you when you're in Grotto are not in buildings. So if someone wants to like shoot down on you at Grotto, they have to be standing outside and they're going to be really exposed. Whereas like
true, they're on
the Rebirth, you can be on top of prison on a nasty head glitch and shooting down at anyone on the east side of the map. So like you're in really good cover and you have elevation. Whereas with Grotto, if you want to have really good elevation on someone in the Grotto, you're kind of like super exposed. Which is going to be really good if you're the last two teams alive, for example. But otherwise, you're going to be in some danger. So, like, Grotto's a really, really well-designed area that I really like. And I like even being down in the Grotto, too. Fighting when you're both low in Grotto is fun. Those fights are fun. There's enough cover that it's, like, fun to fight at, but there's not so much cover that you just lose where people are. It's
a little dark. Grotto. That's my only thing I don't like about Bottom Grotto.
It's a little dark, but it's not as bad as being inside of like a winery building, for example. But it is a little dark. I'll give you that. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Grotto?
I think kind of when we first saw the map of Fortune's Keep, we had both thought and said probably Grotto and Smugglers would be the two worst POIs because of how low they were. But yeah, Grotto, it's not the case at all. And a big part is because of the little cave system that you can use to rotate out. Yep. You're not just stuck down there where you have to go up a zip line or balloon out of it. And Grotto does have a balloon there, right?
Yes, it does.
Yes, that's something else that makes
really
it good
thing. Yeah, true.
And the balloons seem to throw you. I don't know if it's the case, probably not, but just the way the map is laid out, it feels like the balloons fling you a little bit further than they do on Rebirth. But it could just be how the elevation is kind of designed on this map, because it's like, of course, if you're on Rebirth, if you balloon out of security area, it's like cool.
I can barely area.
Yeah, you're landing at the end of pretty much. Yeah, exactly. You just can't get out of it. But these everywhere, because the map is a lot of elevation changes, but overall it's kind of flat.
It's
more
way
flat,
flatter than Rebirth, yeah. For sure.
Then yeah, they seem to go a lot further, so that's good. So yeah, I like bottom grottos. There's a lot of loot down there too.
Ton of loot.
It's not just like an open dirt pit. There's like little work buildings kind of built inside of there that have chests and stuff in them. There's like, little actual rooms and shit. So it kind of gives you fun areas to fight. And then, yeah, of course, the cave system where you can rotate out in case you get stuck down there. I've done that so many times. I've looked down at grotto. I've started shooting at someone, got a few hit markers. They run away and I never see them again. They get out alive because of those cave systems. You can rotate out. You're not stuck down there dying. So I think that makes it really good. I like the area to the east of grotto too, up above. Couldn't tell you why. It's a pretty normal area, but I noticed we got into a lot of gunfights there. It's like up to the east of grotto, there's like that sea can that's kind of tilted.
A couple games end there.
A couple sea cans. I feel like a lot of the games end grotto. Yeah.
That east area above. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. So I like that area too, because up above there is you're still like lower than like keep and stuff, but like keep doesn't have an angle on you really, so it almost just doesn't matter. It's kind of just, I feel like every fight I've had there, what it feels like is I'm never getting third party. You're always fighting another team that's also at grotto, and I'm not getting shot from across the map like I would on Rebirths or something. That's just kind of something I've noticed in our gunfights so far.
Interesting.
So I thought that was kind of a fun area, and there's a buy right there usually too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like grotto a lot.
Yeah.
It's a cute little area.
For sure. Next is keep. So,
like the pause.
Keep is just fucking weird to me, dude. I'm just gonna read what I've written here. I've entered the building keep a solid dozen times, and I can't tell you a single thing about the interior. I don't remember anything about it.
I feel like there's like books. I feel like it's like a giant library. What is a keep even? I don't even know what a keep is.
A keep's like it's like a castle. A castle is a keep. It's yeah.
A type of fortified tower built within castles.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, I guess.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what a keep is, and I still don't. Because again, I've been inside of the building keep a dozen times, and I can't remember anything about it. I can't tell you anything about it. I can say I've never fought someone in there, because otherwise I'd remember what it's like in there. But it's weird to me that I can't remember anything about inside a keep, because I've been inside of, winery, and I can tell you all about that. And even like the terraces area, I've been inside some of those buildings and I like remember those. But for whatever reason, the keep itself, I just I don't know. It's so unremarkable inside. At least for me, I just can't. It's very strange. I can't remember anything about it. However, fighting around the outside of keep is cool and I enjoy it. There are like a lot of ramparts on keep itself and also like the terraces area. And we had a number of gunfights where we were at the keep ramparts fighting kids at the terrace ramparts, vice versa. Those fights are fun, and you can get to the rooftop of keep easily from there as well, but you can't get like super high. I never saw anyone on top of the clock tower. Also, I don't know. I'm sure you can get up there.
There's a clock tower on keep?
Yeah.
I never noticed it. Was it on like the far north side?
Screenshots, but yeah.
Yeah, I never went there either.
Never like seen anyone there. Never went there myself.
I tried not to go there at all.
The rooftop is like not that tall. It's pretty fun fighting around there. And every time I've been at keep, I've been outside on a rampart or a roof fighting someone else who's also on a roof or rampart. That's been every single gunfight at keep, which I enjoy. I like those gunfights because you have like some cover, but you're definitely still like killable, like full killable. You don't have a bunch of cover up there, which I think is good. And you're not that high up either, so you're still in danger from someone like on the street down there. But you still have an advantage. I think it's fine. I think it's pretty cool. But it's not as like special as a bit of a building as I thought it would be, at least in my experience so far. I don't know. Yeah,
those little roofs you're talking about too, you are right in that they're not real long and they're pretty angled, so you can get like a nasty angle to look. Let's say someone's on the east side of keep, or someone's on the west side of the keep and you're on the east looking at them and you guys are both on those little roofs, like you can be having your little battle, but it's not like an extreme power position there like I thought it would be. Because if you're that angle, I can be just north of Winery shooting at you while you're on that roof trying to fight him. So it's not like you're really safe up there. You kind of it's kind of like a risk fighting up there at those little peaks. By the way, the actual keep portion is it's the towers that have like the spiral staircase going up them in the front. Those are the keeps. It's those tallest points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Which those are dog shit areas, by the way, fighting up all those stairs and everything.
Oh, yeah, those suck cocks. I hate that. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah, there was some guy... Dude, remember when we were at Graveyard and there was some kid there for like 20 minutes? And then we ended up chasing him?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Because we landed Graveyard. We were fighting a team that had landed Town. We killed them. And I kept getting shot in the back by some asshole at that fucking... At that keep tower. Whatever. That's like by terraces. It, like 3 separate occasions he starts shooting me in the back. Like, what the fuck, dude? So eventually we all go up there, but he was gone. Yeah. Really cringe. Yeah, I hate the actual keeps themselves then. Yeah. They're fucking terrible. Yeah,
I hate this POI. There's just nothing else to it. It's not somewhere I would ever go. Luckily, we didn't see any circle endings there, which is great, because that would be a really bad circle ending. If it was like all inside of keep or something, that would be a nightmare. It's just like, it's such a massive POI that takes up all of this space, but the inside, like what you were saying, I couldn't even tell you what it is inside. All I can tell you is like, I feel like I walk in and one of the rooms is massive and it's one level, but the keep is very tall. So it's one level, but it's the height of like 4 or 5
it's like
floors,
a cathedral,
and it just feels like a waste of space. I'm like, I would rather have 2 POIs similar to like Winery there, rather than this massive trash building. Not a lot of loot at keep too, it seems. It's so like spread out. You're better off. There's not like a good concentration of loot there for how much running you have to do. It's just not worth it. But yeah, it just takes up all this area for like nothing, and it's not a hot area. You can tell no one else likes it. We landed keep the one time we were trying to like really figure it out, and there was no other people there at all.
Yeah,
people came later to fight, but no one dropped there. It's just not it looks cool in screenshots, but it's not a good or fun POI to fight at.
Yeah,
it's just, I don't know. It's just an odd layout. And again, it's one of those kind of like Town with the audio that it's like, I don't know. I just don't know where these people are at. I can hear them everywhere, but I couldn't tell you where. They're somewhere in this massive keep.
I will also add that if you are on the ground between keep and the gatehouse, you're already dead. The floor is lava there. It is the worst spot on this map to be. Every single time we were on the ground between keep and gatehouse, I was super dead instantly. Everyone can see you. There are so many fucking rooftops around there. I was always fucked there. It is a really bad spot to be. It's really pretty too. Like, you enter the gatehouse. Imagine you're like a guest. You pull up to the gatehouse, you walk in, and you're going to the front doors of the keep. Going on that route, really pretty. There's like a fucking, I don't know what this is called. It's like oh God, I don't know how to describe it. A terrace? Maybe it's a terrace. There's so many words that I don't know what they are. Foyer, terrace, veranda. All of these words, I don't know what they mean. So maybe it's a terrace, maybe it's not. But there's like a fucking like wood or whatever, and there's like vines on top of it, and it's like pretty, it shades you. But it's not like an actual roof. If it was raining, you'd still be getting wet. There's like an area like that, whatever the fuck that's called. And it is so dangerous there. Do not be there. It is the worst spot to be. Every single time I was there, I died. Like fast, too. Super dangerous. And there's usually a buy there, too, which is unfortunate. That's how I learned this. I went to this buy, got fucking destroyed, did it again, got destroyed, tried to pick my shit up, got destroyed, and then said, okay, fuck it. I don't care. I'm using a pistol now. Smile. I'm not getting my loadout anymore. Or I'll go buy another one or whatever. So that place is complete dog shit. Speaking of dog shit areas, Smuggler's Cove is the one POI that we did not go to. I don't think.
Of course we did.
And when we have played again, in preparation for this episode, we made a point to like land at every POI. And I think our instincts were so strongly telling us, this spot is really bad to be in, don't go there. That impulse to not be there was so strong that we couldn't bring ourselves to do it. Even though we intended to go to every single POI, we didn't go to Smuggler's Cove. And we never were like, oh, we need to land Smuggler's Cove. Nah, let's not. It's bad. It's just the thought didn't even occur to us. That's how outside of the realm of possibility it was for us to go to Smuggler's Cove, that it was just implied we're never going there. So I actually forgot that we didn't go Smuggler's Cove until I was doing the notes for this episode. But I was like, wait, I didn't go Smuggler's Cove. I have nothing to say about this. So I will add this. I've landed Grotto many times and run past Smuggler's Cove and like hugged the cliffside. And then if you're doing that, Smuggler's Cove will be on your right. And and when I remember having done this, which I've done many times, I can envision myself looking right and being like, oh, definitely don't go that way, and then continue to run along the cliff face. Because it's such a dog shit area. I don't need to go there to tell you it's a bad spot to be. So I don't know anything about Smuggler's Cove, other than my instincts are scream at me not to be there. So I haven't gone there. I still haven't. Eventually I will, but I still have not gone there. Not even once. I don't know what's there. Other than death, probably.
It's a cove for sure. It's a smuggler's cove.
Yeah, they
smuggle. I think seems to be some sort of shipwreck here.
Smuggle cadavers.
Wonder what's around here. But yeah, so I mean, of course we didn't go smugglers. Why would we? We aren't dumb. We're dumb and not that dumb.
Yeah.
I did look over it, and I don't think I ever saw anyone down there in like the middle area. So maybe Call of Duty gamers are smarter than we think. Other than in the final circle rotations where people were stuck down there and they were forced to come up. So yeah, I couldn't tell you anything about it other than pretty sure there's some zip lines there. I think that was at Smugglers, or was that at Lighthouse? One time people had to rotate up. It was on that south side of the map, and they had to come up a zip, and we just farmed them when they got up the zip because they had no other way to rotate because they were down low. And of course, that's why you take the high ground. You don't go to the lowest part of the map. Right. I think that was Smugglers. I'm pretty sure there's zip lines coming out. Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. It's on the edge of the map, and it's the lowest POI.
And there's no cover if you need to get out. It's all water.
It may be okay to drop there, honestly, maybe early game, but like... why are people there late game when you got to rotate? What are you doing, man? I don't know why people were down there rotating up. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Just you get stuck down there. Just don't even bother going there, really.
You get stuck there. That's the thing. It's like Grotto is just as low elevation-wise as Smuggler's Cove. They're both on the ground. But the difference is you can get up, you can rotate out of Grotto with a bunch of cover the entire time. But you literally just have to look at the map to realize that's not true for Smuggler's Cove. It's two little islands, and then there's a bunch of water. You have to run through the completely open, coverless water to get out, no matter where you want to go. So we just never went there. We just refused to. And that's how you design a POI that's low elevation poorly, unlike Grotto.
I'm pretty sure Smugglers does connect to Grotto through the cave system, though, doesn't it?
Yes, okay. It does. But like, look at the map. You still have to run through all that open space if you're actually on an island, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, if you're running thermite zone, you start getting shot at, just remember, throw a thermite at the water, and it creates a large,
smoke grenade effect,
large smoke grenade effect, and you can get some cover.
Yeah, smile.
Raven with that pro tip, yeah.
Try not to Raven. So yeah, Smuggler's Cove is the only one we didn't go to. I will go there the next time I play if I remember to. I didn't purposefully avoid it when we played. Like we just didn't. It didn't even occur to us. Yeah, because we're not insane. Like So eventually we'll go there. I don't know, and then we'll die. I'm sure.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah. So what is this next absolute point, Tanner?
Where are we at here? Oh. Let's hold on. Let me look over the map here, see if I have anything else to say about some of the other POIs I didn't really talk about. I will say this.
I don't know why Overlook is its own POI. Can we talk about that? Why is
100%
it a named
agree.
POI?
Overlook flows into town. There's no reason to have its own POI. Yeah,
it's part of town as far as I'm concerned.
It is town. Yes,
it's very weird that that's a named POI.
Same thing with terraces. Really, terraces feels like keep.
That's also true. Yeah. One POI we didn't talk about is the Bay. Let's talk a little bit about the Bay. I had a game end at Bay. I was playing solos, and it ended at Bay, and it was cool. If it ends at Bay, it kind of sucks because, like, it does. It depends where you are, I guess. But the Bay is it's a cool POI to look at, and there's some cover. There's some sea cans that are washed up. It's not a place you're ever gonna land, though. There's not that much loot. There's not that much going on. There aren't buildings there, and you are definitely exposed. Now, again, you're exposed because you're a little lower elevation, but you're not that much lower than everyone else around you. But you are lower. But the people to whom you will be exposed if you're in the Bay are people who are not going to be in buildings. There aren't buildings that have elevation that have like nasty cover and elevation on you. So it's not like a death sentence. But Bay is just... There's no reason to really go there.
There's nothing there. It needs some buildings or something. Yeah. There's no cover and there's nothing to loot, so it's kind of just... I don't even know why they named it a POI, honestly. Bay and Overlook need to just not exist as names on the map because they're just part of the map.
I agree.
If you ask me.
And then what about Lighthouse?
I was going to say something about camp here.
Yeah,
so
go ahead, yeah.
I like the POI camp a lot. I like the tents. There's a lot of loot. I want to say there's a balloon there.
There is. There's 100%
there's a balloon there.
South.
There may also
that little black circle south of the
okay,
name.
Yeah. Thing with camp, I have yet to see a buy station there. Ever. I would literally be landing there and rotating out, but I've never once seen a buy station there. It would be a good
drop spot with a buy.
I think it would be. It's lower than Winery, but Winery doesn't really have like an angle on it. Unless you're on like the roof of Winery, you can kind of see in, but I mean, with the balloon, you can rotate out.
And you can balloon out, yeah.
I feel like it'd be kind of a good location if there was a buy. You can land there, maybe get some, get a loadout real quick, balloon out, land like on the roof of like the tallest building at Winery or something, have like a power position over everyone right away. I don't know, but yeah, there's not a buy there ever, so that kind of rules that out for me.
I do like fighting at camp though, because we've chased a couple teams into camp, and then
it's like a Caldera POI. It's like a Caldera micro POI is what it feels like with the tents.
That's such a good way to put it.
That's literally what it is. Maybe that's why I like it, because I like Caldera. I play Caldera, not Resurgence, and so it reminds me of that. Probably why.
Maybe it's flat. It's relatively flat, which is it's kind of refreshing on this map.
The actual POI is very flat, yeah.
Because there are not many flat areas on Fortune's Keep. The elevation changes aren't super crazy.
Yeah, but it's just like little tiny hills everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And on at camp, it is flat. Which is a nice change of pace. Because there are still buildings and shit and like tents and stuff. So you still have cover. It's not like you're coverless. But it's like, you have cover, but it's totally flat. It's a change of pace when you're fighting at Fortune's Keep to then find yourself at camp, which is kind of nice. And and there's no tall rooftops. All the buildings are one story at camp. So there are rooftops, but they're not like tall. You're not going to get super, fucked by like a head glitch or anything. So it's a fun POI. I agree. It's different.
Yeah.
And then that leads to Lighthouse too. So I think I've been at Lighthouse a couple times. We've definitely been there. I've never been in the Lighthouse because I'm not a cunt. But
I've been bottom Lighthouse. That's it. Yeah.
But exactly. Yeah. But I've been like at the POI itself, and it's fine. If you're at Lighthouse, you're not really fighting anyone else unless the other people are also at Lighthouse, or unless, again, you're a cunt and then you're at the top of Lighthouse shooting people far away from you that you have no hope of actually thirsting. So there isn't much of a reason to go Lighthouse, to be honest, unless you're going to be in the Lighthouse shooting out. But if you're doing that, it's not a great spot to be. Now, I've never tried doing that, again, because I'm not a cunt, but I've had people try and do that to me. Every game, in fact, there's someone at the top of the lighthouse trying to shoot at me, and they've never downed me. They've maybe cracked my plates once, and they always get punished for it. Now, so you're not going to get kills there. It's not a good spot to be. The only time I could see that being a good spot to be in is very late game. Then it would be really good if you're in circle or whatever, obviously. But besides that, you're not finishing kills here. This is not top prison, for example, where you can finish everything. You're not finishing shit.
Well, and because you're not really higher than anyone on top prison. So when people mount on that wall, or even when they're crouched, you can see them so clear because you're looking directly at them. It's basically just looking at someone who's mounted on another roof directly at the same height as you, but just out in front of you, versus Rebirth has these roofs where you can barely see the top of their head, but they can see you crystal clear. And this is not like that because it's not really high. It's not a lot taller than the other areas around there.
True. Yeah. You're not taller than anyone on a rooftop of winery. Yeah. You're at the same elevation. And it's all railing if you're on top lighthouse too. You have no cover. So you can mount that railing around there, but I can shoot you through it. Yeah. Or on top of you while you're mounted there. You're really super fucked. You have to run back into the tower very often if you're top lighthouse.
Yeah, we fought teams there 2 or 3 times. I never got killed by any of them. They were all sniping from up there, and we got them. We killed them every time easily.
Yeah, super free.
It's not hard to kill them, so it's not a busted spot like a lot of people thought it may have been. It's not tall. It's not OP. It's actually pretty trash POI to go there, honestly.
Yeah. And then the graveyard, I guess, too. It's uninteresting. Don't go there. I have nothing to say about the graveyard. It's small.
It's a graveyard.
It's shit.
You can do one of the little Easter egg things there.
Yeah.
We didn't know exactly where it was. I didn't feel like looking it up when we were in the middle of the game.
That was the problem.
No, we did have a shovel and we were there, but I couldn't find which one. And then we got pushed by a team, and then I think I got downed, and I think they probably stole the shovel anyways. But I wasn't going to pause it and look for how to do it. But it's there at graveyard somewhere.
Yeah, it's a dog shit POI. Yeah. So,
true.
Yeah, that's pretty much all of them. So there you go. Let's see, Tanner, what do we got next, buddy?
Got it. So it needs more buy stations, I think. It definitely has less buy stations in Rebirth. Well, I don't know if it technically does, but it certainly feels that way based on how they're laid out. It probably does have actually less, but I would like to see if it changes how the rounds play out, but honestly, it may make it feel more like the Rebirth multiplayer, because look what happens on Rebirth. We land control. We have a loadout dropping on the ground within 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Now, I swear, you don't run into players that have their loadout for 3 to 4 minutes into the game. And I actually like that because the ground loot on this is good. There's a lot of good guns, a lot of good SMGs you can find. And it's fun fighting ground loot versus ground loot, I think, actually. So I almost think this is part of the reason this map kind of feels more like a BR to me. Because of that, you don't just immediately have a loadout because you got the money. Kind of feels like you have to fight people off and actually win early gunfights, and that means something versus just finding a bunch of money and then getting your loadout right away and then shooting at other people and killing other people that haven't gotten their loadout. I don't know. It just feels like a more balanced early game because everyone's using the same ground loot. I don't know though.
Yeah.
But there is not that many buy stations. I don't know exactly how I feel about it yet.
Yeah. I agree with you. It does feel like there are way fewer buys than there are on Rebirth. I wouldn't be surprised if there are actually fewer buys. And the reason for that is because of the black market buy station contracts. And they need to make space for those buy stations. So they take out some of the regular ones so that those can exist.
Interesting.
That's my best guess. But I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it does feel like there are not enough buys. Yeah, I agree with you. I think there need to be more for sure. I totally agree with that.
Do you think that would make it maybe feel more like multiplayer at that point, though? More like Rebirth versus how it is?
Not really. I think you would just
think that have any effect.
Lodi sooner. Yeah.
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 I don't know. I'm having more fun with it. Oh, Jake said they just added more buys. Did they add more buys?
Oh, okay.
Maybe they did.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
They probably did then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's the answer. They added more buys anyways. So I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that'll be good. Yeah, so when we play again with more buys, I think it'll be better. I don't think it'll change very much how the games are actually played, though.
Yeah, I'm wondering though if then you'll go up against more people with like self-res and UAVs or something like that, because we had a lot of money always, and we often didn't use it. We had so much money, so that you may start running into like more people popping UAVs constantly and all of that if there are more buy stations and that people can easily get to, because there's so much money on the map. I feel like it's going to make it play a lot different than what we've been experiencing so far.
Maybe that's true. It'll make buying easier, because there are more buy stations, so there's going to be one closer to you always. And it's less likely your buy is getting camped. So that's probably one of the reasons that being between Gatehouse and Keep was so dog shit for me. It's because there was like one buy station on the ground between all of that. But so everyone knew what to look at and camp if they were on a rooftop. But if there were like 3, then you'd have to like look at 3 different ones to figure it out. So I don't know. That's a good question. I guess we'll find out next time we play. So
yeah, they did that last night. They did that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Interesting.
Cool. What do we got next? TANNER.
Where are we at on player counts? A lot of people were bitching about that. I can see kind of why some people want it increased. In quads, I believe it's just straight 40, isn't it? Is it 40 people? 44?
Yeah, I think it's 40.
I think it's 40. So, I think quads feels fine, honestly, but when I did play duos, yeah, it felt bad. I couldn't even... You would think you'd be able to run into people because there's more teams, so you'd think people would be more split up, but that's just not the case on these Resurgence map. The lobby was dead so fast. I mean, the same thing happens in Rebirth, but it felt a lot quicker than this. Again, could be because the map's new. People don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. They haven't mastered it like everyone has mastered Rebirth like crazy. So it did seem like it needed more players, but I still see a lot of the Resurgence players talking about this, that we need more players, but quads usually plays fine in my opinion. I never feel bored like there's a shortage of players. You were talking about, that was before we started the pod, I think, about how like Rebirth is more fast paced because you get into fights quicker, but I didn't feel like I ever had a shortage of fights on Fortune's Keep, honestly. I think like agree. Quads especially, the player count's fine.
I totally agree. I think the player count's like perfect actually. At least for quads, which is mostly what I played. I played 1 game of solos. And that too felt fine, but it was only 1 game, so that's not saying much. But quads I played quite a lot of, and some duos and trios actually. And those felt good to me. I never felt like there were too many players, and I never felt like there weren't enough either. I think the number of players is actually perfect. Are there a lot of people saying they want more? I think that's
still all my Twitter TL, but it's all like the Resurgence sweats, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. I
don't know. It's like Strafe and those type of people. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the reason you would want more players, and maybe it even feels like it's fewer players than Rebirth, even though it isn't, is because it's not as fast-paced as Rebirth Island, which is because the map is better. It has more variety, and not everything is like, oh, I don't see anyone, and all of a sudden he's 5 meters in front of me. Doesn't happen as often, so maybe it feels like there are fewer players, feels less frenetic and intense. So they want to add 20 extra players so that Fortune's Keep feels just as fast-paced as Rebirth Island. But then you're never shooting anyone far away, and then you lose the thing that Fortune's Keep is, which is like a variety map where you can get in a variety of engagements. I would not want to see more players. I think it would make the experience significantly worse. If you want more players on Fortune's Keep, I would advise you go play Rebirth, and it'll feel like there are more people, even though there are. That would be my recommendation. But I don't think the player count should be changed at all. I think if there were fewer people, it would be bad. But I think if there were more, it would also be bad. I think the number of players is like actually sweet spot perfect for me. There's a lot of gunfights, there's a lot of action, but it's never super overwhelming. Rarely feel like I get third-partied, honestly, which is another actually thing that's worth mentioning in general.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like I do not get third-partied much on Fortune's Keep at all.
It's because there's not enough players on the map.
Often than Rebirth. Every team fight, I get third-partied on Rebirth. You have to be able to 1v2 teams as a team on Rebirth Island every single time. But on Fortune's Keep, like, rarely get third-partied, which is surprising, actually. But it feels that way. Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. That's how all of it's felt.
Probably the reason I like it so much.
Is it feels like you're fighting another team every single time.
Yeah.
It's like a long, drawn-out team fight, and you're not getting third-party typically. Yeah, which is the opposite of Rebirth. Rebirth is all third parties, so you know. And then the people that play Rebirth bitch about it being third parties. Hey, let's take players away from Rebirth. Let's piss them off. Hey, won't get third partied anymore then,
20-player lobbies. Yeah, I like that.
Let's get 20-player Rebirth lobbies, man. That'd be dope.
So let's talk a little bit about our loadies, our loadout strats.
Yeah.
I want to, before you get into this next point, Tanner, I want to ask a different question. Do you think there should be a difference between your optimum Rebirth Island loadout and your optimum Fortune's Keep loadout? Do you think the maps are different enough to justify two different loadouts? It's a toughie.
I don't know. I think there's one new busted OP perk that I found, which is now the best third perk in the game that I've discovered. And I think that would be the only item I change, honestly.
Tell us about it.
So I was running the Blixen, or I was using the Marco too. I was running Quick Fix as my blue perk, Tempered as my red perk, right off rip, no overkill. And my third perk, here we go, Tracker. Hit me with it. Hear me out.
Okay, well.
I know you guys are laughing. You're pointing fingers. Somebody probably already paused it. They're going to the feedback channel in Discord. They're calling me a fucking idiot, I'm sure.
We've gotten 5 one-star reviews already. Yeah,
I've done it all. I've complained about Tracker users more than anyone else. I said, why would you run this? Fortune's Keep is why you run it. With how Keep and Town are designed, I could not figure out where people were going. As I was saying earlier, they're always running away from me because you can't enter the buildings. So they kept running away, making corners, finally getting to a few buildings you can get in. And I would lose them and I would die. So I started since I'm running only one gun, I'm like, I don't need amped because I don't need to switch guns fast. I'm using a knife as my secondary. Would be using Cali sticks, but I don't have them unlocked. I'm not a piece of shit. So I was using a knife and a Blixen. I don't need amped.
Literally going to, and I don't have them either. Yeah.
Yeah, Combat Scout, I don't care. I won't be able to shoot through any of the stone buildings at Keep or Town anyway, so I'm not using Combat Scout, not that important.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I guess I just won't even pick a third perk. Can I just have no third perk? And then I was like, you know what? Let's try Tracker. Dude, I chased down so many people in
Town. This is so surprising to me.
And found exactly where they were just because of Tracker. At one time, we had just got our loadout at Graveyard. I started moving into town, just running through looking for people. All of a sudden, I see a trail of footsteps, white footsteps. So I'm like, oh, someone was here a little while ago. Not like right now, because they're not red. So I started following them. I followed them. I went into this building.
Expert.
This dude's sitting up there on a roof, looking the other direction, shooting at someone. I would have had no clue he was there if I didn't have Tracker.
With
Tracker
how bad
literally
the audio is too, they never heard you coming.
Oh, exactly. And that's why I need Tracker, because I don't know where they're going either. I hear footsteps, I don't know where they're going. Swear to God, Tracker is very, very good on Fortune's Keep. Would I ever use it on Caldera? Of course not. Would I ever use it on Rebirth? Maybe try it, since I've been using it on Fortune's Keep. Probably not, though. But I guess if I'm running an SMG, honestly, I may as well.
I think
but it's not nearly
is...
as bad as I thought it'd be. But like Rebirth is more predictable. Cause it's like if someone runs in bottom prison from like grandma's house, it's like cool. They either went to the left door and they're going up on the roof, or they went to the right and they're in the prison block.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to figure out because the buildings are big and like long, so you can find where they went easily. Versus like town, left, right, up, down, basement, hidden in a wall. They wall glitched into it. And I just, I can never figure out where they are. So I swear to God, it's pretty good. I urge you guys to try it out. Let me know how your experience goes. I was shocked. It was very good.
That is shocking, but it does make sense when you think about it. Because I tried Tracker a long time ago on Rebirth, and my experience was like, oh, I'm seeing footsteps all right. I'm seeing 8 people's footsteps in every different direction in this room, and it tells me nothing, and I'm being shot while I'm looking at them. There are too many footsteps, and I think it's because, like we were just saying, on Rebirth you're always getting third-partied. You're very often getting third-partied, which means there are very often literally like 12 people in the same building as you. So Tracker isn't going to help you in that situation because there's someone in every room. That you don't need to know where someone is. Just go somewhere else and you'll find someone. But on Fortune's Keep, where it's often like one team versus another team, if you see footsteps, it's the team you're fighting. So then it's like you're not going to get overwhelmed by a stampede on the ground, and you'll see one guy's footsteps. And then it's actually going to be kind of helpful. That's an interesting point. And I think another thing too is that unlike Rebirth, there aren't buildings that are like 12 stories tall. So like Tracker on what's the building called? The northmost building that we land at often. It's either Decon or Bio. Which is it? I always get those mixed up.
Decon's the long one.
Yeah, okay.
Just
so
south
like
of it.
I can imagine if you have Tracker at Bio that it would not be that helpful, because when they run into the hallway, or excuse me, the room with the staircase, it's like they could go up or down, and it's likely that someone went down and someone went up. And then there's footsteps there, and they're going up the stairs, they're going down the stairs, they're coming up through the stairs that the other ones were going down, and coming through the other ones that they were going up, and it's just too much. Too many elevation changes where Tracker would become like not useful. But yeah. I could actually see it being pretty good on Fortune's Keep. The main reason I think it could be worth running on Fortune's Keep is, as Tanner started out this point by saying, what the fuck else are you going to run? None of the yellow perks matter on Fortune's Keep. So like
you just default to Combat Scout if nothing else, I guess.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, but like you said, you're not going to wallbang anything. So it's not going to be that useful. And if you're taking a long range gunfight on Fortune's Keep, you're not going to lose where they are. There aren't a million bushes like there are in Caldera. You're not going to lose track of them. So they're either going to get behind hard cover, you can't wallbang anyway, you don't need Combat Scout, or they're not going to run behind hard cover, and then you don't need them to be highlighted because you can see them clearly as they're running. So in either case, you don't need Combat Scout. So it's like, what the fuck else are you going to run? You might as well try Tracker.
I'm telling you, dude.
What I ended up doing was, again, I got stunned and assassinated first game on. So I said, okay, guess I'm running fucking Battle Hardened. And then I didn't get stunned, flashed, or snapshotted for the next 3 hours, literally. Cool. So I've been defaulting to Battle Hardened on Fortune's Keep, actually, which would be really good if I ever got stunned again. But maybe I should be trying Tracker. I don't know. It's a great question. So to go back to the question I asked Tanner, would I ever run a different loadout on Rebirth versus Fortune's Keep? I would say this. On Rebirth, my loadout is Quick Fix, Tempered, fuck Overkill. I'm not getting 2 loadouts. It doesn't matter. Quick Fix, Tempered off Rip, and Battle Hardened or Tracker or Yellow Perk. It doesn't matter. And I would be running a meta closest possible range SMG, which would be like a Blixen. But on Fortune's Keep, I could see myself changing out the SMG for another SMG that has better range. So maybe like a Marco, because it's easier to use at range, or like an Owen gun that's going to be really good at like 18 meters still. And I wouldn't run that on Rebirth. I don't care about 18 meters even on Rebirth. I care about 5. That would be the difference.
Like a Type 100 or something that kills really fast that's harder to use is better on Rebirth. That's true.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what I would say the difference between the optimum loadouts would be for me is on Rebirth, I'm taking a specialized super close range SMG. But on Fortune's Keep, I'm not doing that because there are a fair amount of long range engagements. But besides that, as far as perks and equipment go, I'm still going to use a heartbeat on both. And I'm still using throwing knives on both. That's what I'm doing.
Wait, heartbeat?
Yeah, I'm a heartbeat gamer for sure.
You're a baby monitor bitch? Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You're that kid that you kill someone, they watch your kill cam, you're sitting in a corner, baby monitor up, you see a dot, put it back down, they jump through the window, you shoot them, throwing knife them.
Now, if I'm using tracker, maybe
you're
I don't need
the corner camper.
Monitor.
You're the corner camper that people complain about.
Oh well, complain.
You're
away.
A dumb piece of shit, man. Do you know that?
What?
Why don't you just run Ghost too? While you're sitting in the corner, not moving. With your baby monitor out.
It wouldn't work. What tacticals are you running then?
Stims and throwing knives.
Stims. Tell me more about Stims. How are those?
I think it's a great map for Stims. A lot of it too, again, comes back to like town. So there are like all these small buildings. There's a lot of small areas where you can get in cover. So if you start getting shot at, pop that stim. I may still take a bunch of damage.
Quickly. Yeah.
But it's going to get me to some sort of cover very fast. And I feel like that's very strong. I didn't try snapshots yet. I feel like snapshots are probably really good, actually. If you throw one snap in the center of town, you're snapping like 20 people. But they're going to be behind walls I can't shoot. By the time I see where they're at and I start moving over there, they won't be there anymore. I feel like it's like snapshots would perform well, but I wouldn't get anything out of it. It would mark a bunch of people for me, but I don't think I would end up actually getting kills or it would really benefit me much. It would just tell me where someone is at a time and then they'll be gone.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of where snaps could be good, but you're right. I kind of agree with you. I would like to try stims. I will try that because I do run heartbeat sensor, but like I'm so not used to using it that I very rarely use it. Actually, I
didn't know you ran it. That's why I was shocked.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Because I never had it out. Because I don't know.
Yeah. I don't watch you often because I'm usually not dead and you are, so I don't really know what you run usually. But
I'll try stims though. This is before I was even trying stims again after the nerf on Caldera. But then I tried them on Caldera. I'm back in the practice of using stims, and I'm in the practice of using post-nerf stims. Now that I should try it on Fortune's Keep. It'll be worth a shot. Because I don't get much out of heartbeat sensor. And if I'm trying tracker, I would need heartbeat less.
Yeah.
So that'll be something I'm going to try for sure.
And then...
yeah, go ahead.
Something else I was going to mention is I feel like maybe or people would expect us to like mention something about strategy on this episode. I still don't think anyone's played this map enough to like have like a good strategy, but I feel like in like a month or two, we could do a good Patreon episode about like Fortune's Keep strategy, how to do really well. Everyone needs to play more for that. I don't think anyone can give you a solid strategy guide tips for this map yet. I just think it's the rotations just feel so much different than Rebirth. It feels like BR rotations to me. So I think we'll have to figure something out in the next month or two and do like a good like strategy episode for this.
I agree with you.
Fortune's Keep tip strategy guide or something.
I agree with you. And I would say we will do a more in-depth strategy like tips kind of episode for sure. On Patreon or maybe even for a Saturday episode. We'll let you guys know. But I can say this regarding strategy on Fortune's Keep. It's not the same strategy as playing Rebirth Island. So if you want to have the same philosophy to win playing Fortune's Keep as you do on Rebirth, I don't think you're going to do nearly as well. Because like Tanner said, and this is the big difference, on Rebirth, you can land anywhere except the east side of the map or security area, and then rotate anywhere else you want, no problem. Because there are so many buildings that you can run into, and you can break line of sight so easily, so often. So on Rebirth, it's like land anywhere except security or the east side of the map, and then you can go wherever you need to go. No problem. On Fortune's Keep, that is not true. And like there are dangerous rotations on Fortune's Keep from pretty much anywhere, depending on where the circle's going to land. So I would say very general strategy tip would be rotate earlier than you would on Rebirth, and you might have to be way more circuitous than you're used to being. So on Rebirth, if I'm at Grandma's and then I need to go toward prison, you literally run out of Grandma's, run into the bottom of prison. You are exposed for a very small amount of time doing that. And it's a straight line, no problem. But on Fortune's Keep, if you're at Winery and you need to rotate to like Keep, like you're going to have to think about that, because that's a lot of open space you're crossing to get there that you can get fucked on, and you have to like be more thoughtful and careful doing that. So I would say just, again, think of it as more of a regular BR map than you do Rebirth Island, and you'll do better, I would say. And you do have to be a lot more careful about where you are toward the middle of the game. Because like in the early game, yeah, you could probably land anywhere and you'll be fine. You'll be able to get out. But yeah, like mid game to late game, you can fuck yourself. For example, if you're at Smuggler's Cove late game, you fucked yourself. Unless it's ending at you, you're fucked. Like Tanner was talking about, those kids had to come up the zip line because they were dumb enough to be at Smuggler's Cove late game. Oops, you're fucked. That just doesn't happen on Rebirth unless you're in security area the whole game. Then it will happen. But besides that, it just doesn't happen that often on Rebirth. So yeah, that's something I would say you need to think about for sure. Yeah. But we will do a full episode. We will do a full episode for sure. That's a good idea. And now let's end with this. What are your thoughts on this map versus Rebirth Island now that you've played it more?
Better than Rebirth. I much prefer it to Rebirth. Feels way more like BR. Does not feel like multiplayer like Rebirth. Could that change in 3 to 6 months when people have learned everything about this map? It's possible. But as of now, feels like a BR map, a BR design, a BR layout. And I think that's kind of backed up by all of the super sweaty Rebirth Resurgence kids hating this map. I think that goes to show you it feels more like a BR.
Yeah.
I see a lot of them comparing the map to like mini Caldera. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Go back to Rebirth then. Glad it's in the game now. Get off Fortune's Keep. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's way better. It's more interesting design. Rebirth is boring. It's overdone. Get Rebirth out of the game. I don't give a shit. Make people play Caldera or Fortune's Keep, man.
Yeah.
No, you can play what you want. I don't care. Rebirth is boring to me.
Please
Rebirth is really
fun.
fun.
Out of my Fortune's Keep lobbies, honestly.
Rebirth is really fun for a short period of time, and then I'm good for 3 months. We'll play, get 4 wins in a row, have a lot of fun. I'm like, all right, well, let's go back to Caldera. That's enough for the last 3 months. I don't know. Just doesn't keep me there. It's just boring. Fights don't matter. I mean, it doesn't really matter in Fortune's Keep either, but it gives you the feeling that it does.
I think you touched on something that I agree with. I love Fortune's Keep. I think it's way better than Rebirth Island. And this is why, honestly. And I've said this before, and I'll just restating what I said before last time. Every fucking game of Rebirth feels the same.
Yeah.
It feels like the same thing happens every game. It doesn't really matter where it ends. It's all ending in the same spot. Yeah. Every game ends in the same spot. If it's actually ending in a different spot, it's not. Maybe it's ending at bio or control. And maybe you think those places are different. They're not. They're the same place. Everything feels the same. Every game of Rebirth feels the same to me. Fortune's Keep, not every game feels the same. An ending that is at camp is way different than an ending at town. It feels so different. But on Rebirth, an ending at control feels the same as an ending at bio. Because every gunfight on Rebirth Island is at 5 meters. But on Fortune's Keep, there have been games we've won of Fortune's Keep where we killed the final team in a building at 5 meters. And then there are also games of Fortune's Keep where we kill the final team at 50 meters, literally. And that variety in gunfights, variety in ranges, the openness that a lot of the map has, but not all of the map, means that each gunfight can feel different. On Rebirth, they don't. They all feel the same. And endings are different too. Because again, some endings, you're fighting someone in a building, everyone's real close, and then the game ends. But sometimes it's like there's one team at Lighthouse, one team at camp, and this game is going to end based on who can get better long-range picks. That just so rarely happens on Rebirth. So fucking rarely.
Yeah.
And a lot of Rebirth endings, honestly, are one team is on a roof, the other team's not. And then you both have to rotate out. The team that's on top waits for the team that's below them to start rotating, destroy them, game's over. I cannot tell you how many times I've been on top prison, and prison's the only building in this circle. The other team is below us in prison, and we just win by default. Because then it rotates to control, and we just sit on the roof and wait for them. They have to rotate to control, so do we. I'll wait. I'll take gas damage. I don't give a fuck. You're going to have to move at some point, and as soon as you do, you're ultra giga fucked. But that doesn't happen on Fortune's Keep that often. It hasn't happened to me yet. I mean, it's in theory, it's possible that I'm underneath Keep and you're on a rampart at Keep. We both have to rotate out and you kill me. That can happen in theory, but it just doesn't happen that often because not every single location on this map is conducive to that scenario. So there's more variety both in the endings and in the gunfights in general, even as the match is progressing, and that makes Fortune's Keep so much more fun to me. Not every game feels the same. So I absolutely stand by this. I can't imagine I'm ever going to change my mind. Fortune's Keep is a significantly more fun map for me than Rebirth. Yeah, significantly.
Yeah, Rebirth just, it all like looks, feels, and like fights the same. But again, could it be because it's just out longer? I don't know. Fortune's Keep may feel like that way soon. It's just funny, even when you watch like these resurgence mains, like the super sweaty kids that stream Rebirth only, you watch them play Rebirth and they're just like, no brain power is being used. They're like reading chat, talking to chat the whole time, just running, gunning everyone down, dropping 40 kill games. And then it's like you watch someone who's played a shit ton of Caldera like Breadman, and every game they're not like that. They're like thinking, they're using strategy and shit, trying to figure out what they're doing. And it's like, it's just such, they're polar opposites. And I feel, and Fortune's Keep just feels a lot more like BR, where you have to think about these rotations and shit. And it's just, I don't know, Rebirth is just the same boring, predictable gunfights over and over and over and over. And it's just, I don't know. I'm just sick of Rebirth.
Yep.
I'm sick of it, and I haven't even played it that much ever. It's just crazy.
You just can't play it that long.
Know what I'd rather do? Play Ground War. Ground War is more fun. And I can drop white Foss on people.
Unironically.
I don't know. I don't get it.
At least I don't have to get my loadout fucking
People
camp.
like what they like. Interesting, though. Every Twitter poll I've seen of people doing Rebirth versus Fortune's Keep on numerous Twitter accounts, every single one, Fortune's Keep has won like 60+%. Usually like 65 to 70% people saying they prefer Fortune's Keep.
That's interesting.
Everyone I've seen.
I think it's a fucking great map, dude. I really like it. And someone in chat, I think it was Hood Dog, said like, so you guys don't like Keep or Town, which is 60% of the map, but you still like the map. How is that possible? It's a good question, honestly. But it is. Because
we didn't end up saying we don't like Town. We like Town. Town's fine. Keep is just stupid.
I don't hate those POIs. That's why. It's because I don't fucking hate them. If I have to play there, it's fine. It's not terrible. I'm totally indifferent about them. But like Rebirth, I hate all of the POIs. Fuck Rebirth. I just fucking hate
Rebirth. The only POI I like is landing control and then going prison, and then that's it.
Yep.
I mean, why am I going to land on any of the edges? It's all lower that prison can just shoot down on you, or you have to rotate up in the open, and then prison can just stand there and
you're
shoot at you.
You're going to have to go prison at some point anyway, so you might as well get there early, before you're getting fucking raped from the roof by a loadout. Yeah. Yep. So, as always, let us know your guys' thoughts. In particular, if you're a Smuggler's Cove gamer, let me know how. Let me know in what capacity you're using Smuggler's Cove. Yeah, because I suspect, as Tanner said, if you land there off rip, it's probably fine. It's probably even good, because the loot there is probably good. I think it's like always a high value loot zone. So it's probably good loot, and then if it's that early, you could probably rotate out fine. And then it's worth doing. Let us know if that's the case. I am curious. And I'll try to go there next time I play. I just never, it didn't occur to me to land there. So I'll go there if I remember to. But yeah, let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you're thinking. Next week, Tanner, when are you back in town?
Wednesday.
Okay.
So everything should be normal for the pod.
So our schedule should be back to normal next week. But just to be sure, follow us on Twitter at the Dropshot Pod. We post our schedule every week there. It will be the pinned tweet. You could also join the fucking Discord. That is our home, our little hub. We're active in there. We have our events listed there. We make announcements there. That is where the Damascus Hangouts occur. We have private chats, private voice channels. The Discord's a great way to connect with other people, join the community, the small but vibrant and extremely humble community that is the Dropshot of Call of Duty podcast listeners. Real dumb fucks. But they're fun. They're a lot of fun. It's like your drunk uncle that kind of never went anywhere, doesn't have any kids. You're not even sure he has a lot of stories about fucking a lot of girls, but you've never ever seen him even talk to one. So you kind of find all of them kind of unbelievable, frankly. And that guy's a fucking loser. He's a drunk. He's missing more teeth than he should be at his age. He looks 10 years older than he is.
Why are you calling out half our patrons, man? Stop.
He's a lot of fun at the cookout. He's a lot of fun at the 4th of July pool party. You love having your uncle around. You just wouldn't want to be him. He's kind of a fucking loser, isn't he? That's what
are you having
Discord
for the 4th of July?
That is what our Discord is like, and therefore you should join it. What did you ask me, Tanner?
What are you cooking up for the 4th? What are you doing?
I don't know. Whatever my dad.
Probably
hopefully my dad makes some little chickens, dude. That's what I want.
Ooh, the little chickens
some
are
little
back,
tiny
baby.
Chickens, dude. I would love
some
that.
miniature chickens, dude. Let's go.
4th of July. So what we used to do on the 4th of July is my dad's like childhood friend Alfie would come over.
Alfie?
His name is Alfie. Yeah.
Demonic name.
He was a demon. He was super outgoing. Literally an all-American high school basketball player. He was on the all-American team, like a fucking super athlete. And he would come over and with his kids, one of whom his kid's name is Nikosi. It's a guy. It's a dope name, dude. Never heard it before. That's the only Nikosi I know on Earth. But he's a nice kid. I like him a lot. And he's my age. So like he would bring his kids over. We would all have fun. And then Alfie fucking died. So now we don't do anything on the 4th of July. Yeah, fuck Alfie.
Why did he do that?
Dude, he was like the healthiest fucking guy you've ever met. And he had a heart attack. Killed him at PE. He was a high school teacher. Not old, dude. He was like early 50s.
Jesus Christ.
And he was super healthy. Ate healthy, looked healthy, exercised all the time.
Too healthy. See, that's why you're not supposed to move and exercise. See what happens? It kills you.
You know what's funny about that, dude? They said he had a heart defect that most people would have fainted like 20 times before the heart attack. Because like one of his valves was like really fucked or some shit like that. And normal people with dog shit American hearts would have like fainted a bunch before this, gotten it checked out, and then gotten surgery for it. But because he was in such good shape,
oh no,
his heart worked totally fine with only 3 of the 4 aortas or whatever the fuck you need. So he never noticed symptoms because he was so healthy. But then it closed completely, dead.
Wow.
And so, like, actually, you made a joke, but that's what his doctor said. They were like, dude, if he was in worse shape, he probably would have noticed that something was wrong with his heart, and then we would have fixed it. And then he's dead as fuck.
Poor Alfie.
So, God damn it, Alfie. He went and died, and now we don't do shit on the 4th of July. What do you normally do on the 4th of July?
I don't know. We used to always go up to Big Bear, to the cabin, but now that's absolutely sold. We used to go up there every single 4th of July, watch the fireworks on the lake. It was dope.
Mm-hmm.
Then my sister and Boomer here became way too good for that piece of shit cabin and wouldn't go up there. They said this is disgusting. Is there a Westin up here in Big Bear for us to stay in?
And let me be clear, they're correct.
I need my towels
Your cabin
changed.
had no insulation. It was either too hot
it's
too
a wood
cold.
cabin. Of course there's no insulation.
It was whatever temperature you didn't want it to be, it was that temperature.
It was 95 degrees with a fireplace on, snowing outside, or the fireplace was off and it was minus 15 inside. There was no in between. You're right. You were frozen or you were sweating.
It was it was never a good temperature. It was never the correct temperature in the cabin, not once.
Yeah, but so that's sold now. So I don't know. I'm going to Arizona this year. Visit Sierra's family.
The in-laws, huh? So anyway,
yeah, rip the 4th of July, man.
Rip the 4th of July. So that's it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. Patreon.com/thedropshot is the best way to support the program. 7 bonus episodes a month, monthly hangouts, which have been going better than the hangouts have ever been. Actually, they've been so fun. And we're going to continue that trend. So if you're a lonely fucking loser, which is all of you, which is every single one of you listening, yes, you included, then you should consider joining the Patreon for the Damascus Hangouts. That's another fun thing we do. But the main thing, of course, is the 7 bonus episodes every single month. And it's the best way to support the show. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. Have an excellent evening, of course. And as always, remember, stay humble.
Humble.